a tutorial on how to draft this deep plunging neckline dress with slight basque and a trumpet sleeve. Now drafting, you're going to mark your shoulder to bust, under bust, waistline, then 5 inches to 6 inches for your basque length. So place your tape and you're going to mark the shoulder measurement divided by 2, come down by 1 inch, mark your basic neckline of 3 inches. Now you're going to connect for your shoulder slope. The next step is to find your chest line, which is your bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches. Place your ruler, draw out a straight line. After you're done marking this, the next step you want to take is to mark your shoulder divided by 2. Then after you're done marking that, place your ruler and connect. Now you'll be adding ½ inch when you're transferring your pattern to fabric. Place your tape again, divide your armhole into 2 equal parts, come in by ½ inch, place your tape and mark your bust measurement divided by 4. Connect this to the upper part and connect to your bust circumference divided by 4. After you're done marking this, the next step is to mark your dart. You're going to mark your nipple to nipple line divided by 2 and you're going to connect this all the way to your blouse length. After marking this, draw a straight line to connect. Mark ½ inch on both sides of your waistline, then extend it all the way down. Come down by 1 inch from your bust. Now I'm going to connect this all the way up and also to the upper part. Then go ahead to connect these dart lines I have at the lower part. Insert our body measurement. Place your tape, mark your bust divided by 4, add any sewing allowance of your choice. Mark your under bust measurement divided by 4, pick your dart intake, replace and add your stitching allowance. Your tape, mark your waist measurement divided by 4, pick your dart intake, replace and add your stitching allowance. Mark your hip measurement divided by 4, replace your dart intake and add your sewing allowance. You want to go ahead to connect your pattern starting from the upper part to the blouse length. So for the neckline, I'm going to mark 1.5 inches above my chest line. You can use 2 inches. Then I'll connect it to the upper part. Next step is to outline your under bust because you cut and join it. Mark your bust dart. To get your bust dart is the difference between your shoulder to waist in front and your shoulder to waist at the back. Then I'll shade this out. Next step is to come down by 1 inch from the waistline or 1.5. Then connect your basque. So we just have like a slight basque, it's not too much. Then I'll just go ahead to connect. Next step I'll take is to go ahead to cut this out. Blend out your dart while cutting. So if you have any questions so far, please kindly go ahead to ask. After cutting this for your dart, you can blend your lower part or you can go ahead to cut it and join it as one piece. Now let's cut the back pattern. For the back neckline, I marked out a zipper allowance of 1.5 to 2 inches. So I marked the shoulder to bust area, then I marked a basic neckline of 3 inches by 1. I'll go ahead to connect to my neckline of 3 by 1 inch. So after marking that, I'll blend out. So here's the shoulder to chest line. I marked the shoulder to bust, then my shoulder to waist at the back length. So I added extra 1 to 1.5, just like we did for the front pattern. I'll start by marking out my dart, which I'll mark my nipple to nipple divided by 2. Then you're going to place your ruler and connect this all the way down. I'm going to mark ½ inch on both sides of my pattern, come down by 1 inch here. So after I'm done marking that, I will go ahead to connect this at both sides. Step is to go ahead to insert my body measurement. Place your tape, mark your bust measurement divided by 4, add your sewing allowance. Mark your waist measurement divided by 4, pick your dart intake, replace and add your sewing allowance. So whatever I had on the waistline, I took it all the way down. So after doing this, I'll go ahead to connect. So this is what I have. Now come in by ½ inch from my zipper at the waistline to take out my zipper bulge. Extend this all the way to the upper part. Now extend it to the lower part. So this is what I have after marking out. I'll go ahead to cut. After cutting this, I'll cut the sleeve of this dress, but I'll be cutting the sleeve in a miniature size. If you have any question, go ahead to ask. Cut the sleeve of this dress. I'll start by marking out 1/2 inch, which I'll be using for my starting line. Next is to find your sleeve cap height. Find your sleeve cap height is your bust measurement divided by 12 plus 0.5 inches. I'll make a mark there. Then place my tape and I'll mark my armhole measurement divided by 2. So if you measure your armhole and you have 14, if you divide it by 2, it will give you 7 inches. Now you want to place your tape, your ruler, connect to the tip. Now, what you do is to place your tape on that line. Divide what you have here into 2 equal parts and mark. Then after you're done marking, you're going to place your tape again. You divide what you have here into 2 equal parts and mark. Then you're going to place your tape from here to the midpoint and mark. Now what you do is come up by 1/2 inch at the first point, go down by 1/2 inch at the other side, then go ahead to connect to this point here, and then to here and to the last part. Now this sleeve is a bell sleeve, and all you have to do is, since my pattern paper is not enough, I'm going to add additional pattern paper to the sleeve. I'll go ahead to add another pattern paper, which I'll use my tape to hold it down. The next measurement you need is how wide you want the sleeve to be open. Measure it, divide it by 2 and add your sewing allowance. Then go ahead to connect. After that, just go ahead to cut out your pattern. Cutting out, please go ahead to add 1/2 inch at the top, which will serve as a joining allowance to the dress.